You're listening to The Early Morning Musician, the podcast for artists who burn the candle at both ends and build their dream while the world sleeps.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Carissa, your guides to staying inspired while you clock in and out of the daily grind. This is the podcast for artists writing songs in the hallways, hustling in the margins, and refusing to hit snooze on their creative callings.
If you're juggling chords and spreadsheets, melodies, and meetings, this show is your backstage pass to motivation, consistency, and the belief that you're not alone in the grind. Great job on that 9 to 5. Now, let's get you pumped for that 5 to 9.
Because building a music career isn't easy, but you don't have to do it alone. Here's to turning your day job blues into creative gold, right here on The Early Morning Musician. Guys, welcome back to The Early Morning Musician in 2025, Season 2, Episode 1. And let me start off by introducing you to this, the newest piece of our podcast setup. This is Bacon.
He's asleep. I mean, he's not even opening his eyes.
He's loving this.
So if you are not watching the video,
if you're not watching the video, you've made a horrible mistake. I just want to say that.
We got a 4-month-old kitten yesterday, so he's not like super small, but he's not full grown, and he's having bedtime right now while we're doing this.
He
podcast.
is just like, I can feel his heart is beating really hard. I feel like he's in a deep sleep. This is it. I like looking at him in the camera.
Yeah, Ryan's
That's
lifting
cute.
him up.
Mad cute.
Lifting him up. No eyes opening. No waking up. There he goes.
Anyway,
Okay.
we're excited that you guys are here. You know, if you can see the video, if you're not just listening and you're actually looking at the video, thank you. But you probably noticed it looks pretty different. And we took, obviously, a break back around November and December of 2024. And part of it was this. We wanted to have a much better looking set than we've had in the past. So if you can see, we got some furniture, we got some stuff on the walls. It looks 1,000 times better. But maybe even the bigger, more important thing that we did was we treated this room, because it's not just our podcast setup, it's also the studio where we record all of our music in. We do all our mixing and mastering in here. We acoustically treated this space, which made it's dramatic. The difference is unbelievable. I was working on our next song, I guess it was yesterday, and whoa, the stuff I can hear in here now, unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I can't believe what I can hear. It's like any adjustment I make now, I can hear the tiniest change that I make.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So we're super stoked. The space feels better. It looks better. And we're hoping that it will obviously help us create better content, and the goal being to also create content faster. You know, we've kind of had this 1 month, kind of almost like a glass ceiling. Like, it's really hard to produce a song, you know, to go from nothing to a release song in shorter than a month.
If you have a day job.
Yeah, if I have a day job. My gosh, if I didn't have a day job, shoot. If I didn't have a day job, I bet I could do a song a week. I bet I could just do a song a week.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you don't have a day job, that's awesome. We love you. This song, this podcast is by and for people who have day jobs and are trying to do their hustle in the mornings or the evenings or wherever. And on that note, we're going to talk to you guys today about why we think that your art is best done in the mornings.
Yes.
Not done any other time of day, which is a hot take.
Hot take. If you're working midday or at night and you have a regular job, you're probably working at the wrong time of day.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. That's probably happening.
Even if you don't have a regular job, we spent years trying to come up with like a consistent way to produce music, write songs.
A long time.
And nothing changed until we started doing it in the mornings.
Yeah. We started like making morning time priority, which kind of also means like using your evenings in kind of a different way. You know, I have to be much more intentional with when I go to bed at night because I pay the price in the morning. But man, game changer, changed everything. Like, everything.
So we asked ourselves at the end of how long have we been doing this? Since middle of 2023. So about
that was when we started. That's when I started, like,
a year
working
and a
in the
half.
mornings. Yep.
So at the end of this year and a half, we were asking ourselves, what is it about doing it in the mornings that was so significant and enabled us to create a system and enabled us to release more music than we ever had before and do it better. And by the way, I'm looking around this room, and I wanted to say, if you want to see how Ryan DIY's sound treated this room, he has a YouTube video up on our YouTube page where he shows you exactly how he did it, because he worked super hard on this room, but you can do it too. Anyway, we're just going to tell you guys about why mornings.
Yeah, why mornings? It's super important, I think. If you're the regular person. Now, if you have a trust fund that your parents set up and you just got free money and you can work all day, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're like a regular person, or, maybe you're a young person in college and you're having to, wait tables at night and it just feels like the time to create does not exist, I'm here to tell you that it does. And here's why you should do it in the morning. The first is the focus that you get by working in the mornings. It's unmatched. There's something about it. And I know people, I've heard a lot of people who talk about like working in the evenings, like after the family goes to bed. That's the easiest part or the easiest time of day. Not for me. Definitely not. By the time I get my entire family in the bed, the chances of me not going to bed and scrolling on TikTok are very small.
Yeah.
They're very small. And there are times when I do. There's definitely times when like we're coming up on a deadline and for the next week or so, like I'll put in a couple of hours at night. Like those weeks happen. But most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, it's reserved for mornings because of the focus. That's for me is one of the biggest ones. There's something about waking up before everyone else in the house does. And before I've had to go to work, before I've had to pay any bills, before I had to worry about, buying groceries at the grocery store or going to town to do whatever chore, there's just, like during the day, so many things just like pile up that you have to do and things that you got to think about, and you kind of carry them. I kind of carry them to bed sometimes, sometimes they keep me from going to sleep at night. Maybe I'm thinking about them too much. I don't know, but there's just something about the morning when you first wake up. Yeah, I mean, it's early, so you got to get the coffee, you got to get the French press going, you got to make the extra strong coffee. But man, when it hits, when the caffeine kicks in and you are like ready to rock, the focus, your mind is so clear. No, there's like nothing has filled it yet, and it's like you're just full of energy, you're full of focus and clarity, and you just go and you just start creating, and it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you think, oh man, you got from 5 to 8, you have 3 full hours. It must really that's a long time to work on music. No, it goes by unbelievably fast. I mean, I guess I do have to cut it a little short because I do have to typically get ready for work. Like I do a lot of conference calls, video calls, so I can't look like a slob. I got to, have on my polo or, all the stuff you'd expect. But man, the focus, like no kids have pulled on me yet. I haven't had to look at, anything that I don't want to look at yet, deal with any problems that I don't want to deal with. I can just get in and start creating, and there's nothing on my mind other than songwriting. And it's magical. It's magical I can produce better music. I can write better words. I can write better melodies. I just make better decisions across the board because I'm just so focused. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And for the listeners out there who are thinking to themselves, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl, and I get my most creative energy during the night, and I get the most inspired during the night. I would say that used to be me. I think that I used to consider myself a night owl.
Sure.
And when I was growing up and I was into whatever kind of art form it was, I was doing my drawing at night, almost like the later the better, for me growing up. But I think the older you get, I don't know, maybe, but I think the older you get and the more responsibility that you have as like an adult, the less you have in the tank at the end of the day. Because even though I might like to stay up late, still, I just don't have any creative energy left at night anymore, guys.
It's tough.
Imagining myself trying to create it feels impossible now because I'm empty.
Well, I'm gonna say it, and I hope my kids will probably watch this podcast someday. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But it is so hard after a day of children.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't watch kids all day. You know what I mean? Like I watch kids, I'm with kids from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I've got 4 hours and I co-parent. I'm not even doing it alone. Sorry, I just hit the cat by accident. And in just that like 4 or 5 hours, I get so overstimulated, and so like the things that all moms get, touched out, I just get irritated, and it's hard for me to just, put the kids to bed and turn off the irritation and all of a sudden be creative. I can't. I don't know why I can't, but I literally just cannot do it.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case in the mornings. It's just not the case in the mornings. I feel it's so much easier to wake up and like have a coffee and brush my teeth and go make music. Way easier to do that than to somehow turn the switch off of like annoyance or whatever, negative feeling I'm feeling from, doing whatever my kids made me do. Who knows?
And for me, there was a certain kind of like option fatigue that used to happen to me before we had a designated morning work time. And if I thought too much about the creativity I was going to do later in the day, the more I would overthink it and the more I would feel like paralyzed by the time I got there.
Yeah.
There's something about waking up and not having time to think about it. You're kind of a machine. You're waking up, you've only got this limited block of time. You know what you've left off with yesterday. It's like opening your video game to your saved spot.
Yeah.
You just open it up and you just hammer it out until your time is up. And it's kind of like one of my friends, she was like, do you ever like set a timer on your phone and do the dishes and you have to finish them in 5 minutes or you convince yourself that like you're going to get tasered? And I was like,
yeah, kind of. I try to think that way.
No. And she was like, I do that. I play that game with myself all the time because I need like the extra motivation or like the feeling kind of like it's a game or like there's a consequence or a reward. And there's not necessarily any consequence or reward to working every single morning for 2 hours. But for me, it eliminates the, there's options and I'm thinking about them and they're stressing me out and I can't do it for this reason. And how much time do I spend? What if I only, have 30 minutes or what if I feel too tired to blah, blah, blah. You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that overthinking goes away.
Right.
And you just don't do it. There's nothing to think about.
Yeah.
You're done.
100%.
The only thing you're thinking about is what you're doing on your song.
Right.
Or what you're doing on your whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. See, for me, sometimes I would get like kind of carried away working on music. Like if I did it in the evenings and I would feel this pressure to like make decisions quick because it felt like I got to make progress and I can't go to bed until I make progress. So then I end up coming to bed later and later and later and later. And I just feel like trash every day because I would just stay up super duper late and I wouldn't maintain. I wouldn't be consistent. Because I was constantly like trying to feel like I got to do something today to like, I got to make enough progress.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be worth it. And it made me totally inconsistent, which, yeah. But that brings me kind of to what my second point was, which was the morning is better and it will make you more consistent. And the reason is less things pop up early in the morning than pop up like in the evenings, like Friday night. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to work on a song Friday night. Oh, friends want to go to dinner. Oh, kids got a thing to go to tonight. Oh, there's a whatever. If your kids, play baseball or something. We talked about signing Dave up for baseball. Oh, there's a baseball game or like a family event. So like all these, there's so many things that can pop up on an evening.
There's also just like moods that can pop up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like when I used to do creativity things later in the day, I could talk myself out of it so easily because I would just be like, well, I had kind of a hard day today. Or like, I worked really hard today.
Like, it's justifiable. Like, the internet will understand because I'm so tired right now.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to record it.
Right.
Because there really isn't anyone holding you accountable.
But when you wake up in the morning, you don't even have a mood yet at 5 a.m., Yeah,
I mean, like sleepy is that's kind of a mood, but that's
sleepy is it. So if you can talk yourself out of sleepy, there's really so much less conversation going on.
Yeah, and if you pound coffee, like it's going to do the work for you. It's going to do the work of waking up for you. So there's just so many less things. Like I cannot there's never been one time in my entire life where I got up to do music and I had a text on my phone, hey, do you want to go grab breakfast? Or like, do you guys want to make plans real quick? Like, there are no last second plans that happen at 5 a.m. They don't happen. Like, societally, socially, we just don't do that. So it's like perfect because no one is ever going to ask you for 5 a.m. Whereas someone's going to ask you to go to dinner, or like you're going to have something that you want to go to, a concert or whatever, like whatever. Things just don't pop up. So it creates this really, really extreme type of consistency for you because you know no one's going to want that time, and because you know no one's going to want it, you don't feel rushed. It's not. I don't have that thing where I'm like trying to stay up late to make some progress because I know for a fact I have tomorrow morning. Like, I'll be in here tomorrow morning. So it's like, what's that cat doing?
The cat.
It's catting. The cat is catting in here. You know nothing's going to come up. You're going to have it, and you're going to know that you have it, and it just creates this consistency, and it takes this pressure off that crushes you at nighttime. It keeps you up too late, and it makes you not want to create. It makes you dread it. When you know you're going to have that set amount of time the next day, you don't rush things. You don't rush through decisions. You don't make bad decisions because you're feeling rushed or because you're feeling this weird internal creative pressure. You can just do it and take your time, and because you know you have tomorrow. And it's really, really powerful when you have that time in the morning.
Yeah. That creative pressure is the next thing that I was going to talk about. I used to feel this sense of restless, guilty, creative pressure every day.
Yeah.
I think maybe I felt it every day for like 12 years. I always had this sense, even when it wasn't true, even when I was really, really young, I always had this sense
that cat is coming up the back of your chair right now.
Is he climbing up the back?
He's trying so hard.
Oh, come here, Bacon.
He's so cute. I'm not even mad at him. I'm just like, where's he at? I want to look at him.
I always had this sense, even when it wasn't true, that I was behind the ball, that I was behind perpetually. There was really no amount of work I could do that would make me feel not behind.
Right.
And I think it was because I wasn't being consistent. There was just this innate guilt about not being consistent enough.
Oh, yeah.
It was never enough. So in my off time, on my vacations, days that I really wanted to enjoy or should have enjoyed, I was feeling this creative pressure because I didn't have a time set aside that I was giving to my art. So all of my time felt like it should belong to my art.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It was just too much pressure all the time. So there's something about working in the morning that psychologically tells you that you're ahead of the game. You're not behind the ball. And for the rest of the day, you feel like, I don't have to feel that pressure. I already did it. And then when you go to bed at night, maybe you dread waking up in the morning, but there's a motivation there that says, at least I'm on top of it, and at least I'm not behind the ball. Every single day, I'm ahead of the game. Makes that pressure go away.
Yeah.
Makes that guilt go away.
100%. And that literally leads me into my last point, which was, if you will do your creative thing in the morning, you will literally be a better human being for the rest of the day in every area imaginable. Mm-hmm. Me personally, as a creative, I have jumped from job to job my entire life. Mm-hmm. My entire life. In fact, before the job I have now, I never worked anywhere longer than 2.5 years. And really, the average was probably slightly less than 2 years for most of the jobs that I had. I hated everything. I hated every job I ever had. I could not hold one down. There was just anything I was doing, I just found like, this is pointless. This is meaningless in the scope of life.
I'm an artist.
I'm an artist, and no one's letting me do my art.
There's so much I have to give.
Yeah, there's so much, and it made me like an angry person. It made me probably not as good of a husband because I'm feeling this pressure, like I should do something. What am I supposed to do? How do I pull this together? How do I create? And
you end up feeling resentful for all the people who are like keeping you from doing, all the institutions that are keeping you from doing it.
Yeah, you blame your job, you blame everything, you blame life. And the thing is like life just happens, but this magical thing happens when you have enough discipline to just get up early and do it. I take that 3-hour chunk. And, there's sometimes I get up at 4 a.m. So I have literally from 4 to 8. Now, I don't do that every day. That's if big deadlines coming up. But like that 3 or 4 hours that I have in the mornings, I am a better employee. I go to work with a smile on my face. Like I show up, I'm already feeling accomplished. My work, they ask me all the time, like, Ryan, why are you so awake when you come to work? Like I have a Monday morning, 9 a.m. Management call that I have to be on. And they mention almost every week, like, dang, Ryan's awake. Ryan's here. Like, Ryan's ready to go. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm 4 cups of coffee deep. And I've met like my biggest need, which was just to like be creative.
Yeah.
So like I've been up a while, I'm gassed and ready to rock. Like I'm ready to go. So like I'm a better employee. When I get off of work, I'm not thinking like, oh, I got to rush my kids to bed. I got to work on songs, and I can't spend any time with my wife, and I can't get on TikTok. I don't feel that way. I get off work, I get to be with my kids, I get to eat dinner with my family, and I get to lay in bed at night with my wife. I get to scroll TikTok. I get to laugh, and
we don't get to scroll TikTok anymore.
We don't get to scroll TikTok anymore. In fact, as we were literally setting up to do this, we got the notification that I guarantee you the entire internet is talking about in this moment. We got it where TikTok said we're not allowed on anymore.
I mean, where is the internet talking about it? Because everybody's boycotting
I'll
Meta.
tell you where they're talking about it. It's on Red Note. If you're not on Red Note, where even are you? Are you seriously thinking about going to Meta apps? Are you really doing that? Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I know that I'm going to post this on Instagram, but if you see this on Instagram...
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You didn't see this on Instagram. You saw this on Instagram and you went to a different app to acknowledge that you saw it, because I would not be caught dead scrolling Instagram Reels. Would not be caught dead scrolling Instagram Reels. I actually took a screenshot of the thing. I just can't believe TikTok's gone. It's wild. I'm just sitting here. This is nuts. Sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. What is happening? What is this? Anyway.
We're on Red Note now.
We're on Red Note.
And the Chinese are super nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So just in wrapping up that conversation, that morning thing, it just makes me a better person. It makes me a better husband. It makes me a better worker. It makes me a better dad. I don't feel rushed at night. All it requires for me is just the discipline to set the alarm and get up. If I would just set the alarm and get to that first sip of coffee, if I can just do that, I just need enough discipline. Because after that, once the coffee hits, it hits. It's going to hit, baby. There's a reason we drink it. It hits. And it'll wake you up, and you can create amazing things. And then you're amazing for the rest of the day. You feel accomplished, and you know that I don't have to worry about this again today, because tomorrow morning I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, guys. I'm telling you, it's the thing that's the missing piece for most of us. It is the morning time. It is the morning time.
Yeah.
I'm convinced.
We've
Are you convinced?
said a lot to say it makes you happy and it makes you effective.
Yeah.
And that's two things that artists really struggle to be.
Yeah.
Happy and effective.
Why are we all so sad? Why are we all so depressed?
We really, we called it the early morning musician because it unlocked those two things for us. So we really believe in it, and we really want you guys to feel that too.
Yeah. But speaking about the rest of this year, we've got a ton of stuff planned. Obviously, not on the agenda is TikTok. So we have moved over to Red Note. Like Carissa said, the Chinese have been like the nicest people imaginable.
Super nice.
It's so cool. If you're not on Red Note, you should definitely consider it. I know when you look up the app and it's got like Chinese writing on it, it feels a bit intimidating.
It does feel intimidating. I still feel like I don't know how to like consume content, but I do know how to make connections. Like the connections there are super warm and eager.
Yes.
People are like, please let me be your friend.
Yeah, seriously. I've had so many people today either DM me or leave comments, and I've just come across like other organic videos where the Chinese people are saying like, are you going to stay? Like, are you going to stay on the app? Or if Donald Trump saves TikTok, are you going to leave us again? Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like so sad.
It is sad.
Like,
and they're like,
because they don't have TikTok. They can't. They don't have Facebook. They don't have Instagram. They literally cannot engage with us on social media. And getting on Red Note, they are all rocked by the fact that the Americans have showed up on Red Note and they can finally talk to us.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They're sending us pictures of their lunches and
Oh my gosh. Guys, their food.
They're
Unbelievable.
asking us like, can you show me a picture of your spice drawer? And like we sent them a picture.
I sent a picture of our spice drawer, like our cabinets. I talked to them about like what I do for work and like what I do for fun.
They were like, how much money do you make a year? And then we got into like the economics of like cost of living. And they are super connective. They really want to like know.
They want to know about your life. Like, what is your day to day? Like, what are the boring, mundane things that you experience every day? They want to know. And it's so fun. So like, if you're not on Red Note, push past that awkward barrier. You get in there. There's a couple settings. You can Google it. Just Google it. You can switch some settings so that it takes your app. Look at her. She's exhausted. You can take your app and change it from Chinese to English so you can actually read what's going on in the app. Your messages, it'll automatically translate them for you. They literally within 2 days of TikTokers jumping ship to Red Note, they rolled out an automatic translation. So like they automatically can make all the words English, and you can add subtitles to anything you post so that it has both English and Chinese subtitles. So essentially we're communicating now. It's quite easy, not at all hard. They leave you a comment. It shows up in English for you and Mandarin Chinese for them. And you just get to it. It's fun. I'm having a great time. So check us out on there. We're everywhere else too. But don't follow us on Instagram because that's lame. Don't do it on Facebook either. I'll make fun of you if you follow this podcast anywhere else. So,
okay. Well, that's episode 1, season 2 of the Early Morning
Let's
Musician.
go. This was great, guys.
We hope that you guys get up tomorrow morning and start your year off.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Don't ruin your life and not start doing creative stuff in the morning. It'll change everything for you. Guys, thanks for joining. We're stoked that you're here. 2025 is going to be our best year yet. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. We're just happy to be here. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.